Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the speech crafting workshop brought to you by the Gather Club of University of Malta. We are thrilled to have you all here today, joining us from different corners of the country. This event is all about enhancing our public speaking skills, and we have a lot in store for you. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover the secrets of effective speech making. Imagine words as tools and the sentence as a stroke and the paint that paint clear messages. Our goal is to equip you with the skills and the knowledge to become exceptional speakers. To guide us through the creative process, we are privileged to have a truly remarkable speaker, Toastmaster Mohamed Yasir. He is not just a civil engineer, he is the distinguished Toastmaster, the champion of Speech Olympiad 8, and a seasoned public speaking expert. His journey is an inspiration, and he is here to share his insights and secrets with us. Thank you, Toastmaster Yashir, for making time to be with us here today. Without further ado, let's jump right into the session. Toastmaster Yashir, over to you.
Thank you very much, Renu Lakshmi. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Right. Can you please confirm whether I'm audible? And I hope there's no
Yes,
lag
sir.
in my voice. Right.
Yes,
Thank
sir,
you
you are
very
audible.
much. Yeah, please don't call me sir. Fine. I was an undergraduate at your same university just a few years back. Calling me sir makes me, old. I mean, I'm already old. There's no argument about that. But right, fine. I'm so excited to be back to the place where it all began. University of Moroto, a Gavel Club of University of Moroto will always be a very special place for me because that's the place which helped me convert my fear into my passion. That's our tagline, isn't it? I still have those t-shirts which says that tagline. Well, and right. So today I want this session to be as interactive as possible, and I want this session to be as natural as possible, and I want this to be an experience sharing. Rather, I don't want this to be mechanical, someone just reading through the slides. So let's see how this goes, and I hope you all are getting ready for Speech Olympiad. Right, fine. So before we get started, can I get a raise of hands if you are planning to take part at Speech Olympiad this year? It could be a virtual raise of hand. How many of you are planning to take part at Speech Olympiad? Nice. Okay, so we have some very good speakers. We have Amirda Varshini, we have Sai. I can remember Sai from Ovation, who he did the model speech for the evaluation contest. Yes, cool. Right, fine. So how many of you think, right, please, can you all put your hands down? Am I an admin? Right, okay. Admin, please ask them all to, make them all lower their hands. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a very important question. Okay. How many of you think you can win this year's Speech Olympiad? People who are planning to take part this year's Speech Olympiad. How many of you think you can win Speech Olympiad? Let's see. All right. Okay, I'm not going to tell anyone that this person told that he or she is going to win Speech Olympiad. Come on, nobody. Okay. Right. So we have Amirda Varshini thinks that she can win this year's Speech Olympiad. Okay. Right. So watch out, all the other contestants. We have a champion amidst us. I mean, great, fine. So I know. You know why I asked this question? I can remember back in 2014, I think. Is that when Speech Olympiad 8 happened, Chemini? I hope that's the year. I had forgotten when I competed in Speech Olympiad. Now I saw in the poster today it said Speech Olympiad 8. Before the Speech Olympiad 8, we had a session workshop like this, and Toastmaster Sandun Fernando was a resource person, and he asked everyone how many of you think that you can win this year's speech Olympiad? And only two of us put our hands up. I also put my hand up, and eventually I managed to win that year's speech Olympiad. So who knows? It could happen. It could happen. So number one, it's about the belief that you can be the best. That's very important when you take part in a contest like that. And as we always say, you might have heard this many times. A contest is not about conquering any stage. It's about conquering yourself. So it's about giving yourself a chance to explore more out of your comfort zone and whatnot. Right, fine. Now, let me quickly take you through my experience as a contestant and how I evolved when it comes to speeches. And today we are going to talk about how to crack the code of a winning speech, and we are going to talk about how to come up with the script. Okay, right. So I want to know how many of you are willing to respond to me when I ask questions. Please raise your hands. How many of you are there? Are some very familiar names as well. We have Savin Sai is there. Amrita Varshin, I saw Umair was there. Cool, awesome. Right, fine. Now let me share my screen. I don't have a fancy what do you call that, PowerPoint presentation or anything. Just for the sake of having a slide I've prepared for you. Right. Please give me a thumb up if you can see my screen, please. I hope it's visible because I can't see any of you. Yeah, cool. So today we're going to talk about how to crack the code of a winning speech, because yes, we all want to win. At the end of the day, we compete to win. Now only one person can become the champion, but still all of us should give our best, and that's why we compete. And if there's anyone who is not planning to compete, and especially if you are a member of Gavel Club, please do contest, because for me, I grew a lot because I contested. I can remember I very rarely missed Gavel Club meetings. One of our past presidents told me, whenever there's a Gavel meeting, he'll call me before the meeting starts, half an hour, 1 hour. Yasir, you're coming, right? Every week he'll call. It was weird, but then when he left the university and we were trying to come up with the next executive committee, he told me why he called me, because he wanted me to be there, because I always take up the first table topic slot. I always do that. I never wait for others. I go and take the table topic, and that was where my growth happened. But my actual growth happened because of contest, speech Olympiad. So I'm someone who competed during all 4 of my university years. I mean, I was there at university for 4 years, actually 5 years. So 1 year for strike and everything, right? And during the next 4 years, there were 4 speech Olympiads. I competed at all 4 speech Olympiads, and every competition, I saw a great amount of evolution in me as a speaker, as a person. So if you are not planning to compete, this is going to be a life-changing experience. That adrenaline rush, the time you go to the stage, the butterflies in your stomach, your heart pumping so fast, your lungs begging for more oxygen, your knees trembling, your palms become sweaty, and your lips go dry. Well, that, my friend, is a sign that you're alive. You need to feel that to grow. That's a sign of growth. And yeah, when the time you get the table topics, my God, your whole body goes numb, doesn't it? But you should feel that. And that's how you evolve as a speaker. So please compete. It doesn't matter how it goes. I will tell you my story, and then you will understand how I started and why I'm here. I'm delivering a speech crafting program for university students here, and this is not how I started. So first and foremost, if you want to come up with a solid speech, content is king. Right? You might be very good at what do you call that, delivery. When it comes to delivery, we talk about body language, we talk about vocal variety, and especially the words. You might be very good with your words, but at the end of the day, you get 50 marks for your content. You get 30 marks for your delivery, and you get 20 marks for the language. I think the language part, all of us are fine. We can sort of manage it. And delivery part, yes, with experience, with refining, you can improve it, but 50% is for content. So whoever scores more there has a good chance of winning. So content is king. Now, let me start with a question. Most of us have the struggle of finding a solid content. Okay. Now we have around 38 participants here, And I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to deliver open this question to anyone in the room. If you are going to speak about speech, if you're going to write a speech, especially for speech Olympiad, now when for a contest, speech Olympiad is something similar to the international speech contest we have at Toastmasters, where you have to deliver a speech mainly, and at the end of the day, you have to give an inspirational message. Yes, your speech can be informative, it can be funny, but at the end of the day, your speech has to create a great impact, right? Fine. So first, let me ask the audience, what would you speak about if you are to write a script for the speech Olympiad? So I'll remove my slides, remove my screen, and write. Come on, can I get some responses? What would you want to speak about this time at speech Olympiad? Just tell me a few 3 words. In 3 words, what would you want to speak about? Okay, let's start with Amirudavarshini, who wants to become the champion this time. Go ahead, Amirudavarshini. What do you want to speak about?
So yeah, I would speak about what I really wanted to tell the word right now in my heart. I would just want to speak about that.
Okay, super. All right, fine. So she did not reveal it. She wants the suspense. That's good. Fantastic. Right. Anybody else? Can I get 2 more answers? Sai, what about you, man?
I'll also probably go something similar on the line, but maybe I want to make people think about what I'm trying to tell as well. So have a thinking background during the speech so that it will interest the audience.
Yeah. Super. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else would like to share what you want to speak about during this year? Okay, one more person. Come on, let's make it more interactive. Anybody else who's planning to compete, or maybe not? I don't know. What do you want to? When you want to write a speech which wants to create an impact, what do you want to speak about? All right, fine. So let me. Yes. So Selene wants to speak about personal life lessons. Great. So I will take you through my experience as a contestant. How it happened. So these are few of the areas where you can look for inspirations when it comes to a winning speech. Okay. So first, when I was in first year, I think it was back in 2010, I took part at Speech Olympiad. Let me quickly take you through to yeah, fine. So I took part at Speech Olympiad. I absolutely did not know anything about speech crafting. I went there, spoke for 1 minute, got stuck, and the judges were like, speak. I couldn't speak anything after that. And then I just came and they gave me a milk packet. I drank it. Most of the pretty girls were there as well. Oh, such an embarrassing experience. And then I walked out. But then I did not disappear. I came back when they were giving out certificates. I still wanted to know whether I'll get through the semi-finals after that horrible display. But then no, my name was not announced, but I got to know that I will be getting the participation certificate. So that's important for us back then, right? First certificate in university life. But then I went to a judge and I asked her, Madam, can you please give me a feedback about my speech? She said, no, you're not supposed to ask feedback from the judges, but I can give you one advice: go join the Gavel Club. That's when I decided to go join the Gavel Club, and then the rest is history. Next year I competed. You know what happened? I won the 2nd place. Year after that I competed, I won the 3rd place. Then the next year was my final year, my last chance. Did I compete? Did I want to demote myself? 2nd, 3rd? Am I not even going to make it to the finals? No. I said no, I'm going to compete. But this time I had a lot of different thoughts. I think last year someone interviewed me, or I think I sent an article to the magazine or something, or the blog, I think, about my story at Speech Olympiad. Now, first year I did not know anything. 2nd year I joined the Gavel Club. I learned things. I was fresh and I wanted to learn a lot of things. And then I came up with a solid speech and did well. And then I became very overconfident. I thought, okay, I am 2nd now. The guy who won last year is not competing. So I'm one of the favorites. People were talking like that. Okay, Yasir is competing this time. Last time he was 2nd, so he's going to be a force to reckon with. Went there, I was overconfident. I thought I could take care of myself on my own. I didn't do well at the finals, especially the table topics. If it didn't go well, then I became 3rd. And then finally, I brought myself down again, told myself, okay, you need to restart. Humble yourself. Started from the beginning, step by step. Never missed a training session. Even though I had the experience of 3 years, still went to a training session like a first day kid. as if I walked into training sessions as if I'm walking into a Gal club for the first time. I learned from the beginning, and then it came out well. So my point is, a competition is that it's not just about the way you write your speech, the practice your speech. It's all also about your mindset. You should be open to feedback and everything. So when I started first year, I did not know anything, and the second year, now I'm talking about the content. I wanted to write a speech, but I was not that mature about speech crafting and everything. So the only solid inspiration I had was this movie. I don't know how many of you have watched this movie. I think it's Guzarish. It's a movie of Hrithik Roshan where he's paralyzed below his neck or something like that. So I can't remember the name. Maybe it's the movie where he's a magician. He will be lying on the bed for the whole movie. He'll be like that, and he's a paralyzed person. So that was the only inspiration I had. I watched that movie, and at the end of that movie, there is when the movie is over, when the names and all are going down, there's a quote: "Life is short, but it's long enough for you to live with all your heart. So love freely, laugh truly, forgive quickly, and never regret a right thing which brings a smile to your face." See, still I can remember that. It's been 13 years now. Still I can remember that. So that's how you figure out what to speak about. So that quote inspired me, and I wanted to speak about life. And I wrote a speech. It was quite random, I was talking about life. I didn't have any personal story because nothing big had happened to me in my life. But what helped me win that speech is, now this is something you all can learn, the symbolization. So the topic of my speech was the present. Okay. Now the present can mean two things. What are they? Present is a gift, or it can be the moment right now, this moment. So what I was trying to say there was, present is a present. Got it? This moment is a gift. So you also might have a quote just like that, which might have inspired you. And based on that quote, you can build your story around it. Okay. And when I left university, I wanted to take part in a speech contest at my Toastmasters club. And then there was this quote which I really loved the most. That was this: "To apologize is the bravest, to forgive is the strongest, and to forget is the happiest." So that was the quote. I really love that quote, and I wanted to build a speech using that quote. So if you break down that quote, it said to apologize is the bravest. So it's about you have done something wrong, or no, someone else has done something wrong to you, then you should be able to apologize. And then to forgive is the strongest. So someone else has done wrong to you, you should be able to forgive. And then forget is the happiest. There are so many regrets in our lives, then we'll have to forget and be happy, something like that. So I was looking for ways to connect this. All right. Then what happened was, I made up three ex-girlfriends. One broke up with me, one I broke up with her, and the other one, third one, after all my mistakes, I still didn't learn, I broke up with her, something like that. I made up three exes, and I titled the speech "Three Demons." That was the topic, 3 demons. So I was starting like that. Okay, there are different demons in lives, the politicians and this and that, and then I said ex-girlfriends. That's where I stopped, and then ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and it went on like that. So the suspense was there. Then I tell funny things about how all those 3 stories panned out, and then in the middle I say these 3 women ruined my life. I thought these were the 3 demons, but then I realized no, they were not the demons. The anger I had towards the first girl was a demon. The guilt I had inside me after I heard the second girl was the demon. And the regret I had inside me after the third experience was the real demon. And then then I spoke about it. So in both those speeches, symbolizing really helped me. But unfortunately, the second speech was not a very successful speech. I won at the club contest, but at area contest, I became third. I'll tell you why. Because I was saying I broke up with girlfriends and I was sad. Problem there is the problem you're trying to portray was not strong enough. Come on, man. Breaking up with girlfriends, is that even a problem? I mean, you did something wrong there. So it didn't work out. Now, when you come up with a speech, center part is the problem. What problem are you going to address? Is that problem strong enough? So when I was doing that speech, there was a lot of laughter, and after that, everyone was awestruck. And I can remember having everyone's attention, but I did not go to the next round because content. You get 50 marks for the content. The content was not strong enough. All right. So these two speeches, from these two, what you can learn is you don't have to just say what you want to say plainly. Try to bring in a symbol which will make your speech really effective. All right. So that's the first example I could think of. The quote. All right. So I gave you two quotes which inspired me to write two speeches. I won at least one sort of contest with those. With the first quote, I went up to second place at Speech Olympiad. I was just second year undergraduate, and there were a lot of senior Gavaliers with great sense of I got a lot of help from our senior Gavaliers. Some of them competed alongside me, but I went to that point. So I'm so humbled to say that's why I said Gavel Club helped me rediscover who I am. Right. So that was one, and then an incident. Now, second speech also was about, so my third Speech Olympiad where I won the third place was also about a quote. The topic of that speech was heal the world, and I think that was the time period where Michael Jackson had died. All right, that was the time period where Michael Jackson had died, and you all know the song Heal the World. And then I wanted to speak about healing the world, and I connected Michael Jackson and how people are so sad about him. Millions of people are so sad about him, but on the other hand, millions of people are dying, but no one cares about them. So I wanted to connect how we the least we can do to do something about the hunger. Okay, right. So I think that speech also might not have resonated much with the audience. The reason is the topic was a bit too universal. Everybody has heard about it somewhere or the other. So if your topic is not personal and unique, that's where your speech doesn't become special. So after all these experiences, third year, that means third year in the sense final year, the last chance I had to compete at Speech Olympiad, I wanted to speak about my life for the first time. Okay, so the second point you see here on the screen is the incident. So there was one incident which inspired me to come up with this speech. This was a real story. I did not make up an uncle this time. Like I made up the ex-girlfriends. One of my uncles, he passed away actually. He passed away 10 years back or 11 years back. He was paralyzed, just like Hrithik Roshan in that movie. Below his neck, he was on the bed. Someone had to take him on wheelchair wherever he wants to go. Someone had to attend to him 24/7, right? So I met him, and we had a one-to-one conversation about how he advised how I should be grateful to my life. Because after looking at him, this is exactly what he said. He said he doesn't know whether he has urinated until he feels the smell of it. He exactly said those words to me. All right. So then he said, Puta, so just think how much you should be grateful about your life. Then I thought, okay, why I should speak about this. And then I was thinking, what am I insecure about? Right. So if this was a physical gathering, you might have noticed probably, apart from some of the girls, I don't mean to be disrespectful or discriminative. I might be one of the shortest guys in the room. I'm very short. All right. So that insecurity was there from the beginning. Whenever there's an assembly in my class, I'm always the shortest guy. I have to always stay as the first person in our queue at the assembly, and I had to laugh for all the stupid jokes our principal had to crack. Imagine the pain. Every day in the classroom, I have to sit in the front row, pretend that I'm not sleeping at the history lessons and all. That's how my life was as a short kid. And then I wanted, okay, my uncle said there are so many things we can be grateful about. Then I wanted to pick something which bothered me about, and that was my height. So then I started a series of stories about a series of funny stories about how being short made my life miserable. So I started my speech with a conversation with a girl on whom I had a crush on. So she just imitate her. Now I asked her, okay, I like you, do you like me? And she said, yeah, you are a wonderful guy, you're brilliant, but you are a little too short, right? So the speech starts with a heartbreak, and then after that, funny incidents. My brother's friends, my younger brother's friends, mistake me for his younger brother. Correct? Likewise. So and I started doing classes. All the pretty girls are taller than me. The different stories where my height was bothering me. And then it came to a point where I was fed up of my height, the way I look, and then I meet my uncle. Then my uncle gives me the inspiration. There's so many things in life you can be careful, and I imitated him. And I used a chair with wheels, what we have in the computer labs. So I went to the computer lab, begged them to give me that chair on the final day. I got it somehow, and then I used that chair where I drag it to the middle, and when I drag it to the middle, my uncle is seated on the chair. I am the one who is pushing it. And then I give it in the middle and I sit on that chair. When I sit on the chair, I become the uncle. And I change my body language and I speak and I project his pain, mainly his pain. And then he gives a message. And after that, I give the final message. All right. So that year, of course, I won the speech Olympiad. But I used the same speech when I went out, when I became a Toastmaster. It was not as triumphant as it was at the university. Again, the problem and the solution were not so strong enough, I believe, because being short is not really a problem, honestly, nowadays. The times have evolved. Being short, and that was not a big problem, really. All right. Then with experience came my last speech, the last speech I delivered at the international speech contest, which helped me win at division level at Toastmasters, and I went to the semi-finals at Toastmasters, but unfortunately could not go through. But a lot of senior Toastmasters came and told me, your speech was brilliant, you should have gone to the finals, this and that. But so I'm going to talk about that speech and how I changed my mindset after all these Toastmasters experience to come up with maybe my best speech in my whole life. So this time I wanted to speak about my life story, what I was actually going through during that time. Not just one incident, not just a quote. I want to speak about what I was going through. All right. So if you're struggling for a content, you can come up with a quote. It could be in a movie, it could be just a quote you read on Facebook, and you can build your speech around it, just like I said. Or else one incident, based on one incident, you can wrap your speech around it. Or you can speak about something you believe. Now, Amirudha Varshini and Sai, they both wanted to speak about what they want to tell the world, and they wanted to create an impact, send a message, right? So now let me tell you my story, and this is how I crafted the speech. I left university and I did not continue engineering. All right. I decided to become a private tutor, because when I was going through my training, I realized engineering was not my cup of tea. Right. I'm not demotivating you. It's all about following your heart, isn't it? But when you make such an unconventional choice, life becomes really hard. I was literally hiding from people because everybody asked, okay, where are you working now? You're teasing, really? Why, after graduating as an engineer? Parents, friends, relatives, people I meet, especially people from our university, whenever they meet me, okay, where do you work now? I say, I'm in Candy, which company? Then I escape somehow. God, it was like that. And it came to a point where it affected a lot of things in my life. So, right, now let me tell you. This is how I crafted this. This is not about my story. This session is about how do you craft your speech. So I wanted this speech to resonate one word. All right. So there were a lot of things I was thinking about. Now I'll quickly take you through my story. Now I had this problem. I did not follow engineering, but did not give up. I was continuing to teach, answering all these questions, avoiding questions. I went on, and then at one point, on my 28th birthday, that was 2018, something happened, and that's when I really changed my life. I don't know, there are a lot of boys here. We are obsessed with jersey numbers and all, right? So on that day, our cricket club we were planning to print jerseys, and I checked number 7, Sanat Jayasuriya, taken. 27, Mahela Javardhan, I think, taken. Number 10, who is number 10? Sangakkara. Number 10. I'll try to. Then I went to football. Okay, number 10, Lionel Messi. Number 17, Cristiano Ronaldo. All were taken. Then I thought to myself, why not a number just for me? Why not a number just for me? Why should I do I want Sanat Jayasuriya's number? Why do I need my Lionel Messi's number? Then I thought, I was born on 28th August. This is my 28th birthday. Why don't I go for number 28? Till today, all my jerseys have number 28 because I wanted my life to be unique. I didn't care about what others would tell me. This is literally, it might sound like a movie you've seen, people, but it literally happened. And since that day, I changed the whole perspective of my life. I focused on my teaching, and it came out really well. Now, how do you put this into a story? So I wanted this speech to be to connect to everything. Engineering, I'm teaching physics and life. Engineering, physics and life. So what word would connect all these three? I came up with the word the formula. Because when you say the formula, it could be the formula of physics, it could be a formula in engineering, and it could be a formula of life. All right. So that is how I prepare the concept. So you have something to tell the world, and you have to come up with this one word or one phrase which is going to resonate throughout your speech. If it comes to Dhananjay's speech, what is it? I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. So if you can find something like that to resonate throughout your speech is definitely going to be a winning speech. Number one. So find that word, find that phrase which is going to make people remember your speech. All right. Everybody who came after the contest and spoke to me, you are the guy with the formula speech. Who are the guy with that formula speech? Formula. Everybody remembered it. So if you can come up with a concept like that, it would be great. And the second part which worked for me was the 360-degree approach. If you watch any winning speech, most of the winning speeches, they will start the speech at a point where they are not in the right place, so they are not in a great place, and they will come back to that point after all changes happen in their life, and they'll tell, right, I started here, it was not so great, but now it is great, it is at least becoming great. So I needed something like that. So what I did was, I said in 2015, I walked out of the main gates of BMICH holding a degree from one of the most prestigious universities in the country. I looked to the right, I looked to the left, but I did not know where I was going to go. Contest master, ladies and gentlemen, that is how I started. So always have that suspense at the beginning, create that dramatic entrance, or create that dramatic opening where the audience will definitely want to know what is going to happen next. So this did not happen in my life, honestly, to be honest, but I created it. Okay. So that, and then a lot of stories happen. I'll tell about the middle part, and then at the end, do you know what happened? Then I say, this is how I ended my speech. In 2022, I walked out of the main gate of BMICH. This time I was holding a physics review book. I wrote on my right hand, and my wife was holding my left hand. I looked to the right, I looked to the left, but this time I exactly knew where I was going to go, because I have figured out the formula of my life. That is how I ended it. Right? So if you also can come up with an opening and an ending which connects to that opening, your speech will be solid. I mean, right, one of the very senior Toastmasters came and told me your end part gave me goosebumps. That's what she said. So this is something you also can try. And then after that, in the middle part now, let's go to the middle part. So when it comes to the middle part, boys and girls, speech Olympiad, like I said, we are supposed to give an inspirational story. So first, you need to, the diagnosis of problem should happen at the initial part. Yes, to create curiosity, create interest, you can have all these funny stories where you go through certain things. Yes, very good. There are a lot of funny things happen because you need to lighten the mood and you need to get the audience attention at the beginning. That's very important. That's something I lacked in my speech, I think. So I'm working on that to make it a little funnier, the beginning part, because few of the feedbacks I got from very senior Toastmasters who have plenty of experience. Some of them told the beginning part of your speech did not sink well, but the end you recovered. That's what they said. So that is something we all might have heard. Now my 5 feet 3 inches speech, the speech Olympiad speech where I won, from the beginning there were laughter after laughter after laughter after laughter for like 2 to 2.5 minutes. So I had the audience with me, and then you drop the bomb. Then you come up with that big turning point. For me, the turning point was my uncle's story. I imitated him. I told that he could feel that he has urinated only after smelling it, and he prays to God every second he should die now. He said that, and I said that in the speech. And the audience were with me. You take them to the abyss, to the deepest hole you can take them to, and then you recover from the speech. So in my speech, in the formula speech, I wanted that moment. So I wanted to build my problem. So you start a problem and then you aggravate it to a point where it becomes so deep and so huge that it bursts. So this is how I constructed the speech. First, my parents, they have an altercation with me saying that your friends are well settled abroad, they are in good jobs. What are you doing? You have to figure out the formula of your life. Okay, so that was my catchphrase. And then that was my parents. And my friends tell me, okay, bro, you were so smart at school. What are you doing now? And they just mocked me. Like some of them who did not agree with me about university. There are friends who don't like going to university and all. They have a different. So they were mocking me. So is this why you wanted to go to university? 5 to 6 years. Look, you're teaching now. Why did you even follow a degree? Something like that. So mockery. And then comes the interesting part: marriage proposals. Go there, right? And now they know, they think that I'm an engineer because I'm from University of Moratuwa. Then they ask me what I'm doing now. Then I tell them, no, I'm teaching. Then they embarrass me in front of everyone. They say, oh, really, you're teaching? We thought you were an engineer. We don't want our daughter to get married to a teacher who calls himself an engineer. We want her to get married to an actual engineer. It didn't happen, but I made it up. Okay. Okay, now I'm in a stop of. It didn't happen literally, but it happened. It happened. It happened somehow, right? It happened somehow, So then I see the way I built it up. Every step of my life, the problem was getting bigger and bigger. Parents, they scold you every day. You tolerate it. Your friends, it becomes a little more irritating. But something like this happens. Your parents are embarrassed, you are embarrassed in front of a lot of strangers. Well, that is a bad point in your life. And then 1, 2, 3, I needed to take them down to the hole. I mean, the deepest, the lowest point in my life. Then what happens is, after that incident, I take my bike and I ride my bike with all these thoughts, and suddenly my scooter, it slips and I fall on the road. And then I park my scooter on the side and take my helmet. I sit on the pavement with my helmet down, right? So I just stopped there, and that symbolized the lowest moment of my life. Okay, so I'm just saying, it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse, right? So in your story, I don't know. You might not have such a dramatic scenario, but try your best to find a way to portray that problem as huge as possible, so that there is a turning point in your speech. So that's where you catch the audience. Well, that's where you look at the eyes of the judges, get their attention 100%. Okay. So, and the other thing, don't make your speech a drama. Because in Toastmasters, we talk about vocal variety, the pitch, the pace, the power, the pause, and then the stage craft, the gesture, the facial expression, okay, but don't overdo it. This is exactly why you need to watch these world championship speeches. From each world championship speech, you will be able to learn a lot. So if you watch them properly, those 7 minutes those 5 to 7 minutes will take you through a whole new journey, and you will see they're not like, it's not a play, it's not a drama, it's speech, but you need to have that slight bit of dramatic flavor in your speech to spice up the content. And that's exactly why I decided to pretend, immediate that I'm falling, and then I'm waking up and then sitting on the pavement. So try to have that incident where maybe a little dramatic flavor, where you can enhance your delivery and you can reinforce the message you're trying to deliver. Okay. And then after that, I get a call from one of my students, and he tells me, sir, I thought I will fail, but I got a C. So I can now go abroad and I can pursue my engineering degree. Thank you very much, sir. You changed my life. I get a phone call. Then I think, okay, come on. I changed this boy's life. Why can't I do the same with other kids' life? I could not become an engineer. I did not become an engineer. Why can't I help more kids become engineers? And then the approach to my life changes. COVID comes in as a blessing because I started doing online classes. I started publishing my videos on YouTube. This really happened because I didn't know how to. I had the responsibility of completing the syllabus for the kids. So what I did was, those days we didn't know Zoom, right, before COVID. And then I can still remember I would keep a half sheet or these calendar papers, and I'll write on with platinum on them and record it with my phone. And then I upload them to YouTube, and I shared those on YouTube and made it open for everyone. And so, to my surprise, the reach I got was unimaginable. Kids all over the country started watching those videos, and then my online classes started flourishing, and then life became really good. And even today, I get calls from students all over the country saying, sir, your videos helped me, sir, your videos helped me, sir, your videos helped me. So the message I try to give at the end is, we all chase behind names, behind designations. We chase behind them, but we don't care about what impact we are really making in the society, right? So then the message I was trying to say is, you can be anyone. The tag behind your name doesn't matter, but the impact you create is what matters. And that's how you figure out the formula of your life. So everybody asks me to figure out the formula of my life. My dad, my friend, my prospective father-in-law who insulted me, all of them tell me, Puta, you have to figure out the formula of your life. Figure out the formula of your life. Figure out the formula of your life. So I hadn't figured out the formula of your life until the day I fell down the scooter, and until I got that phone call. That's when I figured out the formula of your life. And it was about accepting who you are and creating the best impact in the world you can do. All right. And that's how I completed my speech. So that's how a winning speech is crafted. You can look at any winning speech, any world championship speech. This is how it is. This is how it usually goes. All right. But there are some world championship speeches. I don't know how many of you have watched this speech about a guy trying to change a tire. You should watch that speech. My goodness, that was mind-blowing. You should be a genius to come up with a speech with such a small concept. It was all about changing a tire, but he used that small incident to build a great speech. It's definitely one of the greatest speeches, but it requires a special set of skills to prepare something like that. But if you go with the orthodox, so ordinary approach, which we all can follow, this is how it has worked for me as a speaker. It worked for me at Speech Olympiad, and it worked for me at Toastmasters as well, and I hope it will work for me in the future as well. So boys and girls, find your own problem and find one story as the skeleton as the backbone of your speech. Sometimes we try to plug in several stories. It could work, but if you have one strong story, it's easy for you to take the audience with you through the entire journey. You get my point? And you can always get back to the points and always answer the questions. That is another feedback I got from the senior Toastmasters. At the beginning, when you bring up the problems, there are questions you need to answer. For example, my dad had a question with me. Puta, what are you going to do with life? Right? What are you going to do with life? My dad was doubting me. They were doubting me. That's the word I use, doubt. Because when I was at school, I was such a good kid. But now my parents have doubt. Will he survive in future? And then my friends, they were ridiculing me. Okay, I became a laughing stock. Okay, am I going to be a joker forever in front of them? That's the next question I had. And then And then I was a role model back then. When you are at university, imagine all of you might be able to relate. The next door people are she's going to university, she's going to become an engineer, she's going to become a doctor. You like role model, a hero around your neighborhood, right? But when you make an unconventional choice, all of that goes away. It happened to me, right? And that was the other question. Okay, am I not a role model anymore? These were the questions, and you need to answer those questions. That is what the judges will be looking for. This person brought up questions during the problems, and then did this person answer those 3 questions? So when I did not go through the semifinals, and some of my friends or senior Toastmasters, they spoke to me and they said, okay, your speech was good, we thought you will get through, but maybe I thought you didn't answer this question which we brought up. All right, so whenever you write the script, identify the questions you are bringing up, and at the end, are you answering those questions? And always go back, address those points. Now, at the end, I said, my dad is now proud of who I have become, and my friends see me as an inspiration because I am my own boss. For them, it's not like that. They might be in big jobs, but for them, it's not like that. And then I found a mother-in-law who accepted me for who I am, for being a wonderful teacher. Good. So you have to get back to those points. Now, you can't just bring up your dad's disappointment, your friends mocking you, or someone insulting you, and you can't leave it like that. You need to come back and answer those questions. That is how your speech becomes a complete speech, and that is how it becomes a winning speech. Okay, right. So this is what I wanted to share with you all, and I hope I helped you understand certain things. I didn't want this to be mechanical, people. I did not want to come up with these jargons in Toastmasters and just tell, okay, do this, do that. I wanted this to come out of my heart. I wanted to tell you what I went through as a speaker, and who has found some success in speech contests as well. Right, so this is what you have to do. It might not be exactly the same, but this is a rough formula which you can use to come up with a solid speech. Okay, so now I think we can make it more interactive, and I would like to answer a few questions if you have any. And right, a few more tips until someone comes up with questions. Don't be lazy. Sit down and write the script. Please write the script. Don't think that you will be able to remember everything. Don't do that. That's a big risk you are taking. Write the script. If you're going for 5 to 7 minute speeches, as Sri Lankan speakers, we usually speak for around 100. We speak around 120 to 130 words per minute, which means your speech should be around 600 to 700 words. That's a rough idea. So you come up with a speech like that, and then once you write the speech, go to your mentor, get feedback, refine your script, practice it, I don't know, 100 times, 200 times, 1,000 times, and do the speech in front of different audience. And one more thing, if you want to become a champion, you need to have the maturity to choose which feedback you're going to implement and which feedback you're not going to implement. Your gut feeling is very important. So that is something I think that was one of the mistakes I made this time around. I was listening to every feedback I was getting, and at the semi-final speech, I changed a very important part in my speech. Few people came and scolded me. Why did you change that? You would have won it, man. Why did you change it? So there is something like that. I mean, sometimes you'll have to go with your gut feeling as well. Just don't listen to everyone, because at the end of the day, it's your speech, it's your story you wanted to say. All right, so make it natural. I think yeah, okay, I think we have a question first. Rinlakshmi Bhaskaran, can you give some tips on how to overcome nervousness? Nice. So our host has a first question. Rinlakshmi, are you a Cavalier? Obviously, she is a Cavalier. If not, she would be hosting. Which year are you from, Rinlakshmi?
I am 22 batch.
22 batch. Yeah, that means she's in the first year. Okay. First year. Yeah, you have time. Renu Lakshmi. It's like this. I also came to university. I didn't come from an English speaking background. Okay, when I first walked into Gavel Club, for me it was like watching an English movie without subtitles. I even with subtitles I couldn't watch English movies those days. It was like that for me, honestly, because I studied in Tamil medium, and I was fond of speaking English, obviously, but I was not confident, surely. But like I told you at the beginning, I never missed a Gavel Club meeting. And when I go to a Gavel Club meeting, I was the first one to volunteer for the table topic session. First one, almost all of the time. I can't remember a day I skipped table topics. I might have skipped if someone ran, in front of before me. So Renu, walk into Gavel meetings. Every meeting, go there. These wonderful people will give you solid feedback. Keep speaking, and the only way to come up, overcome nervousness is to embrace the fear and go in front and speak. There's no other remedy. No other remedy to that. I think not only me, all of these people who have experience now. You have some senior members at Gavel. They will also vouch for this. You go there every day, do a speech, especially table topics. Challenge yourself. I know table topics are really scary. How do you do table topics these days, Shalini? Is it you put the topics on the board?
Yeah, we put it on like
Ah.
projector. 10
Okay.
3 surprise, 2 or 3 surprise.
Cool. Those days we didn't have those surprises. We had the topics on the board, so we had some time to prepare and do. But now at Toastmasters we can't do that. We get the topic then and there we have to speak. But so Renu Lakshmi, what I would suggest is you still now, for example, if you are the sixth speaker at table topic session, you have around 10 to 15 minutes, don't you, to look at the topic, you gather your thoughts, go there and do a speech. Doesn't matter. I'll tell you, every day I did a table topic, they gave me feedback. I mean, different feedback every day. One day it was about my stage movement. One day it was about my content. One day it was about my voice. And one day about my eye contact. So every day I try to improve one aspect in me, and that's how the growth happened. It's about commitment and consistency, very important. We all are committed, we all are passionate. You ask anyone, they say, I want to become a good public speaker. Duh. But are you ready to be committed and consistent? That's very important. And I can't think of any other place, Gavel Club or a Toastmasters Club, positive and such a supportive environment. And that's the answer I have for you. And Renu, whatever the opportunity you get, don't say no to it. At your department, if you're supposed to do a presentation, tell your group, I'm going to do it. You do it. Every opportunity you get, take it. Because every time you appear in front of a crowd, your nervousness will reduce little by little. And with your experience, the amount it reduces increases exponentially. And then after that, you'll come to a point where you don't want to sit there at the audience anymore. You want to go in front and speak. That's the impact Gavel experience can do. So very good that time. I'm really glad to see that you're hosting in your very first year. So I can see a bright future. Just persist with Gavel.
Thank you.
If someone asks me to name one, right, my wife is next to me. She's gonna get angry now. If someone asks me to name one best thing which happened in my life, I would say Gavel Club of University of Moratuwa after my wife. Okay, because oh my God, so many things changed in my life after this. Because of Gavel only, I walked into Toastmasters. Now after I joined Toastmasters, my God, I don't know. I can't even explain words. So yes, please persist with Gavel. And after finishing university, try to find a Toastmasters Club. We are there in 150 countries in the world. Anywhere you go, there will be a Toastmasters Club. Find the right club. Yeah, it will be fun. Okay, any other questions? Okay, right. Sai has a question. Sorry, I was talking too much. Sai, go ahead.
So a small doubt on that 360-degree approach that you mentioned. Now, for example, let's say we have 3 different scenarios, so 3 different timelines of our stories, let's say A, B, and C. And then you're coming back and telling, okay, this is what I want to change. And then you revisit those 3 timelines again and make those changes, right? So my question was, will it sometimes make logical sense, in the sense now, timeline A would have been completely finished by the time you went to B. But each organization, you're going to give it A, B, C, and then the latter part of A, latter part of B, latter part of C. So just wondering, is that how it works?
Cool. Yeah, no, very good question, Sai. No, I'm not saying 360-degree approach doesn't have to be like that. You don't have to address each story, because your speech will start at a certain point, right, Sai? Your speech will start at a certain point, and then those 3 stories will be your supporting materials, and then you can address to where you started, perhaps. So I can remember there was a speech where this guy stands in the altar and she can see his woman, bright and everything, and that's how he starts his speech. And then as his speech goes on, that's his mom, right? Then he goes on like that, and at the end of his speech he says again, there she was standing bright and beautiful, and that was his wife, and that's how he ended. So my what I'm trying to say by 360 degrees, that incident where you start your speech, for me it was about me walking out of the BMICH. That was the incident. So I walked out of BMICH, not so great at the beginning, but when I walk out of BMICH, I feel great. That's what I meant by the 360 degree approach. I hope I answered your question. It's not about, yeah, okay. So try to find that opening, cool, or the impactful opening, and if you can connect to that point, then it will be really great.
All right, thank you.
Okay, super. And yes, Gavin, you have a question? Gavin, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Usually the kind of speeches that I prefer to do are things that have like a kind of philosophical message, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
And one thing I found in impromptu speeches, the formula, so to speak, for impromptu speeches was to have one kind of like anecdotal story involving like famous figures or historical story. Then connect that to some kind of story involving me about or like my experiences, and sneak in the premise for the philosophical idea within those two stories, and then expand on it as the third section of the story. Do you think that's like a viable structure for prepared speeches as well?
Yeah, good. So you have to stick to your strength. So when Gavin speaks, it obviously he sounds like that. He has this philosophical tone and everything. I think you read a lot and you have a lot of stuff in your mind. Brilliant. So yes, I think we should have spoken about the second half of Speech Olympiad. We still have the table topic session, right? I mean, the impromptu speech session. Okay, brilliant. So what I do to tackle, Gavin, I'll just give you a small tip as to how you can handle impromptu speeches. Now, at Speech Olympiad, listen now, 50% was 5 feet 3 inches tall. The remaining 50 was the impromptu. I had to score well there if I wanted to become a champion. So what I did was, you think of small incidences which happen in your life. I'll tell you some examples in my life. You also think like that. One, it's about how I walked into Gavel Club the first day with my friends, and after we all had embarrassing experience. I went to a speech contest. I told you, we all had such embarrassing experiences. All of them left, my roommates. I was the remaining one. I remained, and then I continued my journey. Okay, so that story, that's just one story, but I can bend it to many topics. So luckily, on the Speech Olympiad final, the topic I got was only the dead fish goes with the tide. Only the dead fish goes with the tide. Once I heard the topic, I was super confident. I was not preparing also, just saying, okay, call my name. I went there. I just told and you can connect that story to other topics as well, about not giving up, about embracing the fear or whatever it is. Likewise, so you try to think of incidences like that, and then I have some other stories. I'll tell you some other stories. One, and the second story. After I left university, I became very lazy and I became fat and everything, and my cholesterol level was higher than my mom's cholesterol. Okay, then I started running, and things changed. Okay, so I have that story, and see, you can plug that story to different topics. And then I had an altercation with, not an altercation, an incident with a mechanic, where he asked me, what are you doing? And he was repairing my scooter, and I told him I'm a physics teacher, and he told, physics, even with a ladder I can't reach that. That's what he said. And I said, no Mali, mechanics I can't reach with a ladder to your level. That's what he said. And then he was so impressed, because people don't talk like that to them. So they are always treated as maybe, I don't know, inferior. But then I told him, and he was very impressed. And I can remember he asked me to charge 500 less from his boss. So you can, Gavin, you can think, and you can sit down and think of stories like this in your life, and then you can create your own mind map. And then depending on the topic, you can connect it to it. And also, now for example, my life story, like I told you, how I changed my field, and then I got a topic saying, embrace your pace. Embrace your pace. You have to accept your speed. So I could connect my own story to that. So Gavin, yes, for that. Now for all the others, you have to score 50% of marks for impromptu. But in my opinion, you have to prepare more for impromptu speech than your prepared speech. That's how you score well there. And most of the times, whoever scores well in the impromptu session will go on to win the speech Olympiad, mostly. Because if you make it to the finals, 6 of you, all of you are well prepared, right? So you are definitely going to score more than 40 for prepared speech or more than 35 for prepared speech. What decides the winner most probably is going to be your impromptu speech. So you can work on it like that. And Gavin, I think your strategy is also perfect. But if you're going to connect 2 stories, you'll have to be mindful about your time as well. All right? Or else it's like this. It doesn't really have to be your own story as well, because it could be like, now, for example, someone like Gavin, his strength is the stories he has heard. Now, that is a misconception we all have when it comes to impromptu speeches. We all think, okay, we have to talk about our life story, No. If you can talk on the topic, you become a winner. Am I correct? Because every one of us, the biggest struggle we have is connecting to the topic. So find your strength and how you can connect. Now, if you can actually point out historical examples from famous people, and then if you can, at the end of the day, if you can connect to the topic, then yes, right? And you have a pool of table topics, maybe at least 50 or 100, and every time you try to now this is what I do whenever I go to a Toastmasters meeting. I very rarely get to opportunities to speak because we have to let the new members and the guests speak. So what I do is I sit down and I wonder, okay, if I had got this topic, what I would have spoken, so I create content like that in my head, so that without even me knowing, I have another content if I get a speech in future. So I can remember one of my friends got a topic. It said, whether you are a kingmaker or a street sweeper, you will have to answer the call of Grim Reaper. All right, whether you are a kingmaker or a street sweeper, you will have to answer the call of Grim Reaper. I don't think you'll get such complex topics. But I didn't get that topic, but I thought at that time itself, I prepared a speech. And if I get a speech about death, now I have a speech in my mind. Whenever I need, I'll plug it. And I can remember last time, I don't know whether it's Speech Olympiad or another speech contest. It was about red light, green light speech Olympiad. Yes, I can remember. So I was there, I was watching that, and I created a speech for that. Red light, green light, how can I create? So I have this concept of fear. Fear means forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. So I think I would have connected that concept to red and green. And when you get red and green, if you can connect it to your timer cards, my God, you are obviously the winner. So sometimes when it comes to table topics or impromptu speech, spontaneity also plays in a great role. So Gavin, I hope I answered your question. Yes, and your plan would certainly work. Yeah. Any other questions? Is that all? All right then. So Selani, if anyone needs any help, you're always welcome to contact us, right? Even I think last time we had a small session. I'm always willing to help, and if anyone needs help, they can contact me in terms of their script or their delivery, whatever it is. Maybe, yeah, let's see. And when is the speech Olympiad happening? First round?
So we have the preliminaries on the 1st of October.
Okay.
And then semis on 15th and 24th finals is the tentative plan for now.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Have one question.
Okay. Kisara is asking, could you give some tips on what? Okay.
So you can speak up and ask.
Yeah, where's Kisara? Okay. What you could do if you forget where you were going with your speech. Nice. All right. Yeah, that's something we all encounter. Number one, Kisara, it's about practice. It's about getting the speech into your system. And one of the biggest mistakes the speakers do, most of them, they try to memorize the script. you have to stop doing that. You have to understand the speech, and you should be able to narrate the speech in your own language, like naturally. Try to do your speech as if you are having a conversation with the audience or a conversation with your friend. Okay, so don't rely on the script too much. And the other thing, we tend to forget the speech sometimes when we try to put advanced words and words which we can't handle, or set of words which we cannot handle. So what I do is, I was like a big shot. I was advising you to write the script. I very rarely write scripts. Last time the formula I wrote the script. Yeah. So I don't know. That's how I do it, because I'm not nervous because I say things. I say things on my own. It comes naturally. But when you script it, write the script, you can refine it a lot. So, Kisara, to answer your question, number one, you need to practice a lot. You need to practice a lot, man. If you're forgetting, yes, the nervousness is there. True, you might be new. Number two, when you practice and let it get into your system, it will happen automatically. It will happen automatically. So that's first one. Practice a lot. And number two, don't try to memorize the script. Understand the script, get it into your system, and let it flow naturally. So that's number two. Apart from that, I don't have any other specific advices. And the script, maybe you can remember the key sentence in the script. And sometimes, okay, let's say, may God forbid, but let's say got stuck. Don't try to, you don't have to say exactly what was on your script. Say something which gives the same meaning and move on. That's something we can do. So don't be afraid. Even if you forget sometimes, just keep going, because it's important that you don't get stuck and just give up on your speech. Okay, so practice a lot. Don't depend on the script a lot. Try to understand it, let it get into your system. Fine. Right, okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Due to the time constraint, Q&A session come to the end. Please, everyone, turn on your cameras to take a picture.
So I'm lagging a bit. So I hope that I can get my message across. So after Toastmaster Yasir's session, I hope that everyone is all pumped up to take part in Speech Olympiad. But just in case that y'all still have a doubt about whether you will be ready to give your speech, because it might be the first time you are giving a speech, I just want to tell you about the program we have up. We have ready for everyone who's going to register for Speech Olympiad. So to start with, as soon as you register, you will be given a contact person, and today we will be sending out a form where if you need more feedback, so after you write your speech, you might need some feedback on whether your scripts are good enough, whether you should change anything. So if you do need more feedback, we will be sending out a form, and in that form you can share your script, and then we will come back to you with some feedback on your scripts and whether it's good, whether you should change anything and all. And the deadline for submitting your scripts would be this Friday at midnight. So even though the deadline is midnight on Friday, try not to wait until that deadline, because we will be giving feedback on a first come first serve basis. So if you submit your script early, then you can get feedback early, whereas in the end, if everyone puts in their scripts, then it might take some time for you to get feedback. So if you do need extra help or feedback, please make sure to send us your scripts, and then we will get back to you with feedback. So that is the first thing we have planned. And the next thing is next Tuesday, physically at university, just like Toastmaster Yasir was a previous Speech Olympiad winner, even next Tuesday, physically at uni, we will be having a delivery-based session. So today it was content, next week it's delivery-based session, where we have one of our previous winners, Kasunaya, who will come and do a session to give you all tips on how you can best deliver your speech. So that will also be happening. And afterwards, since Thursday and Friday are holidays, we will be having sessions one-to-one. And you can, again, if you need extra feedback, you can send in your names, and we will have a one-to-one session for about 20 to 30 minutes where we will watch you do your speech, and we will give you feedback on how you can probably improve your delivery or to make you feel more comfortable. So to summarize everything, by this Friday, If you want extra help, you can send in your scripts. And next Tuesday, we will be having a session at uni for a delivery and how you can best deliver your speech. And then we will have training sessions on Thursday and Friday, where we will have one-to-one sessions with you all and give you feedback. So after doing all those, I'm sure that you will be super confident and comfortable with having to deliver a speech, even if it's your first speech at Speech Olympiad. So do register, guys. Do try and put in that effort, because like Toastmaster Yasir said, Speech Olympiad it really changes your life and it really improves who you are as a speaker. So yeah, let's everyone just try register and give your best, and let's make it hard for the judges to choose the 10 semi-finalists. So that's all I have to say. Renu Lakshmi, back to you.